It's the 16th day of September 2016. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Joy News Interactive. We are live on the Joy News channel on Multi TV and on DSTV channel 421 and on GoTV channel 144. This morning we've got a lot to talk about, from phone swindlers to the banning of online porn sites to the online roasting of Manchester United players on Twitter. So go on, you can send us your views on all these topics via our social media platforms. On WhatsApp, it's 0560800000, and on Facebook and Twitter, it's Joy News on TV and JN Interactive GH. So if you're ready, let's get started. Remember the reports of phone swindlers exchanging phones with bars of key soap or any other bar soap and selling them to unsuspecting customers? Well, that problem is still a prevalent one, as Joy News reporter Latif Idris found in a special report.
During one of my secret filming sessions, I came across K-Man, who seemed genuine on the surface. In a bid to lure me into buying an inferior Samsung Galaxy S2 Plus, he reveals to me the tricks employed by people like him, who always parade the street here at Circle.
You say if you meet somebody with the general business, you know they like you. Somebody will betray you after 4, after 5 heads. We, you know, say that machine they call at 26 million. But if they give her 5 million, you don't say your money in the cash you. But you know definitely the machine they give you, they don't go give you. You get Channel 1 or Samina or ties, it cut in the form of that phone. You know say if that one go give you, so you go tell you it's a bill of 5 million. If people can't type that one they like you, you go rush you and lie you are, show you as miserable spoon where your money will go catch. But if you give us small one, you go take. Because you don't say they don't go give you.
So bearing that in mind, Joy News Interactive went on the streets of Accra to find out from you whether you or anyone you're close to has been the victim of a phone swindler.
During one of my secret filming sessions, I came across K-Man, who seemed genuine on the surface. In a bid to lure me into buying an inferior Samsung Galaxy S2 Plus, he reveals to me the tricks employed by people like him, who always parade the street here at Circle.
You say if you meet somebody with the general business, you know they like you. Somebody will betray you after 4, after 5 heads. We, you know, say that machine they call at 26 million. But if they give her 5 million, you don't say your money in the cash you. But you know definitely the machine they give you, they don't go give you. You get Channel 1.
So we'll show you some of your points and, some of the stories, or rather horror stories, that you have, or maybe one of your family members or friends have had at the hands of phone swindlers in Accra. We've been getting some of your views on Facebook and on WhatsApp. Let's start with Facebook, where Gideon says, I'm still finding it difficult to forget about that day when my phone was swindled somewhere around Circle. It makes me think of never stepping there anymore. Prince Nudin says, I haven't experienced such a thing before until yesterday that I watched the Joy News Prime update just to make ends meet. Ghana for you. Ishmael adds, yes, I know of somebody who used to think that before he came a police officer. Interesting. Pierre Kubi Collins writes, please, what is the meaning of a phone swindler with somebody who, uses confidence tricks schemes to get you to buy a phone which might not actually be a phone? Kojo Jr. adds, well, yes, I've experienced one before. And if you have been a victim, or you know someone who has been a victim of a phone swindler before, you can let us know via our Facebook and our WhatsApp platforms. On Facebook, it's Joy News on TV. On WhatsApp is 0560800000. So let's take some of your views from the streets of the capital city on phone swindlers, the good, the bad, and really the terrible.
Something similar happened to me last week. I took a taxi and we were supposed to do some rounds, as we call it. We were supposed to go around, and the first venue we went to, he's supposed to park and wait for me. I was talking to a journalist. I was supposed to meet a journalist in one of a sister media house, and then the taxi driver went away with my belongings and then my phone.
I think the person was in Accra before she realized her bag has been cut off and the phone was stolen. She didn't do anything, nothing. She tried but it was off, so to no avail.
My friend has been questioned before.
Tell me the story.
Yeah, he wanted to buy a BlackBerry Touch, and what happened was the guy was buying the phone from, after paying the money, he gave him the phone all right, but the guy insisted that he should put it in a brown envelope for him. So after putting the phone in a brown envelope for him, we paid all right, we left. Then later, we wanted to open the envelope and check whether the phone is still in there. But when after checking it, we realized that no, it was soap in the envelope.
So those were some of your views from the streets of the capital. Some WhatsApp messages here coming in. Kay Bena in Kumasi says, wow, that's a real street hustler. I know someone who bought a Samsung box without a phone in Kumasi. And another one here saying, this is from Solomon Kojo Hagan in Kaswa writing, I have not been a victim before, but I think people who indulge in such practice, they should stop because it's a very bad one. So keep on sending us your views, WhatsApp and on Facebook, and we'll surely share it on Joy News Interactive. While still speaking of phones, let's move on from those which are, have been purchased through really terrible means and those which you can get legitimately. For all Apple phone lovers, the iPhone 7 was launched earlier this week, and the price tag attached to the phone is as impressive as the features offered. The 256 gigabyte version is going for at least 3,000 Ghana cedis. My colleague Kwekuche went around the newsroom here at Joy and asked the rest of the colleagues here if they would fork over that amount for a phone.
So Alcatel One Touch.
Okay, so is it able to serve you all the things that you need to do as a journalist?
Yeah, I've had challenges. I've used several brands, and my main challenge has been the strength of the battery to last me the whole day. So I've tried, I don't know if I have to mention the brands, but I've tried all, and I think this serves me right because I always I have several social media platforms that I use my phone to operate, and it's been difficult trying to get my battery lasting me the day. So when I settled on this, I'm able to go through half a day without charging, and I think that's cool. I love it.
So would you spend a fortune on a phone, and why?
It's good to do that, but not when I have some other, needs to take care of.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to Mr. Akable. Hello, Akable, what phone do you use?
I use an Infinix Hot 2.
Is it able to save you all the things that you need to do?
Yes, I actually settled on it because it takes good pictures, and when you go out on assignment, you should be able to take good pictures. Then again, the quality of the recording. So those were the two reasons that informed my decision to use this phone.
So the iPhone 7 is going on sale today, and it costs about $700. So would you spend that much on the phone?
Well, I think basically in deciding which phone you use, one thing that you look out for is your ability to afford it. Yes. So if it's within means, why not? But if it's something that is beyond means, I won't settle for it. And with this amount, I don't think I'll settle for it.
Thank you very much for your time. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank
you.
What
phone do you use?
I use a Samsung.
Wow. So are you able to explore all the things that you need to do as a journalist?
Yes.
Okay, so would you spend, let's say, $700 on a phone?
No.
Why no? Because you're a journalist, and I think you should be able to take quality pictures. You need to have, quality sound and stuff. So,
well, I think there are phones that will cost less that will do the same function. So I won't spend that much on a phone.
So the battle is fierce between buying one because, well, it helps you to get your work done and to have a really active social life, at least online, and between, maybe it's just a bit too expensive. A couple of messages coming in on that really hot debate. Kojo saying, personally, I won't spend 3,000 Ghana cedis on a phone. And now Kyle also adding, oh, please, come on, I won't. I'll rather send the money to a charity home. Keep on sending those opinions, your thoughts on WhatsApp and on Facebook. Joy News Interactive takes a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Joy News Interactive. We've been talking about expensive phones and phone swindlers, and now let's move on to what's happening online. In Russia, authorities there have banned access to online porn sites, and they've admonished anyone who attempts visiting such a site to rather go outside and meet people. It sounds a bit extreme, but we had to ask, do you think such an act can be successfully implemented here in Ghana? We'll take your views from the streets of Accra, but first, let's see what you're writing about this on Facebook. Dilton writes, Ghanaians don't really have time for phone sex. The one-on-one is already going on. Yeah, very funny. Gideon adds, well, it would be great news in Ghana since our youth will now be drawn closer to God and remain more disciplined. Kojo Jr. says, yes, it's possible if only measures are put in place to restrict Ghanaians from porn videos. Ebalte adds, I think it's a good idea. Prince just thinks it's an amazing world. Collins, that's great, good news. And Philemon says, this will help young Ghanaians a lot. So if you think Ghana should follow the Russian example, please let us know via WhatsApp and on Facebook. WhatsApp is 0560800000 and Facebook, it's Joy News on TV. Now, about the phone, if you had 3,000 Ghana cedis, would you spend it on a iPhone 7? Valen writes, I won't spend such an outrageous amount on a cell phone. And if you agree with him, let's check out some of the views from Accra.
I think is good because the rate at which the youths are getting spoiled is good to ban, but to implement it in Ghana, it can be, but it won't be that easy. Maybe it will take quite some time.
I think it's okay. It's a good idea. If we implement it, it can be done.
Yeah, Russia bonding porn sites it's a good thing though, but it's a good thing because it will limit the kind of gayism and premature sex and premarital sex and then premature pregnancy, teenage pregnancy. So I think if they should implement that law in Ghana, it will help Ghana a whole lot. Because when you check out on the streets, a lot of teenagers have been giving birth and they are fatherless on the streets. And they are, later they grow, they tend to be thieves, armed robber, gangsters, and all sorts. So I think if they implement that law in Ghana, it will help a whole lot.
Like me, that porno there, if you ban there, it's okay. So it's no good. It's no good moving for the small boys and small girls watch that one. It's no good. So if you ban that, I like it.
It can be done, provided if we've accepted it and then we've taken it upon ourselves that it is a policy we are going to implement. It can be done, and I think it will really help. Porn itself is very dangerous to, I would say, our, let's say, Christian life, or in general, let me say, our religious life. So something that will stop it or something that will prevent it from getting to especially the youth. Being a youth activist, I will not be happy to see my fellow youths watching porn or taking part in maybe porn activities.
And those were some of the views from the streets of Accra on whether we should start towing the Russian line and ban online porn sites. A message here from Derek saying, I think it's time for Ghana to implement that law. And another one here saying, well, okay. I think Ghana can put up measures to ban such videos, although it won't be easy, but I think we can definitely do that. That's from Solomon in Kaswa. And on the phone issue, here's a friend saying, for the phone, if you have the money, definitely you will buy it. Still watching Joy News Interactive. Speaking of all things online, have you ever read a story, believed it to be true, and then realized that, wait a minute, this is rather a satirical piece? With the influx of satirical news sites, consumers are having to learn how to be much more discerning when it comes to their sources of reliable news. But honestly, how can one tell? And how do you tell?
You cannot sit down and predict that a story will be hilarious or it could be funny unless you read it. Okay, after reading it, sometimes we do learn from them. It might be funny, but it carries a serious message that if you take a good look at it and implement it in your life, it helps a lot.
Serious news story go according to, or they say what it is, what they are supposed to say. But hilarious news story goes by beating about the bush and then giving comedy and all that. Meanwhile, it's supposed to be news. So that's the difference I can...
If you see a real news, I think the first thing you should do, you should check is maybe the settings of the news, the facts. Let's say the media or the domain supporting it, maybe the site. You have to do your checks and see where the news is coming from. I think these things will tell you whether the news is real or is fake.
But you know, sometimes people just create something which is not true about myths and everything. Something you just heard, you just try to publish it which is not true. Sometimes it brings confusion and misconception to whoever is being caused on.
As you can see, it's not as easy to predict or as easy to notice as you might think. But let's check out on Facebook what you think of reliable news sources versus satirical news sources. How to tell the difference. Balte writes, humorous news sites over-dramatize their news and even the heading alone will speak. But serious news sites go straight to the point. Prince writes, wow, just looking at the updates. Colin says, I can't, not even today. Gideon, well, you will surely know Nkojo is just surprised. And on WhatsApp here, Joshua saying, yes, exactly. Just check the news. You'll be able to see if you are very, very careful. Now let's move on into the sporting realms a little bit, because last night, Manchester United, they lost their game at the UEFA Champions League. And this morning they are being royally roasted on Twitter. Take a look.
Manchester United and their manager Mourinho are trending on Twitter after their loss to Feyenoord yesterday. Let's check out a few tweets here. Mourinho is doing everything right. Some of the players are just letting him down. When he starts axing some players, no one should lament. And that's from at Unilorina Mebo. And at Billy MUFC says, seeing people on Mourinho's back already. After all that palaver last season to get him here, I hit 90% of our support. Well, and this is at T_. The guy says, yet to see tweets about Mourinho losing his mojo. Not even been in the game long for this to be happening. He's stale. And at the Yao Ofosu says, laugh out loud. No one wants to blame Mourinho for this, but somehow I think he deserves a lot of the blame. And at Redor07 quotes Mourinho, and he says, quote, my option in the last 4 games in the PL was look, and I think it's time for Marcus to play, unquote, hashtag MUFC. And this is from at Nikki Dupri says, laugh out loud. United genuinely spent over a year playing like they had been quarantined and couldn't enter the box. Well, that's it for Twitter Trends today. We wish Manchester United fans all the best, but as it stands now, Manchester United and Jose Mourinho, their manager, are trending over their loss to Feyenoord yesterday.
And that was how Manchester United was royally roasted after their Europa League match where they lost to Feyenoord. And let's take out. Thank you so much for joining us for the past 30 minutes on Joy News Interactive. But please do stay on the channel for more great programs. Have a wonderful day.